So my timeline on Twitter has been pretty crazy the last couple of days in the Halo world, just really talking about one single thing in Halo Infinite. This guy right here. The Mangler, from what I've seen, is easily the most polarizing weapon in the entire Halo Infinite sandbox. For those of you unfamiliar with the beef, the competitive Halo scene has seen a lot of teams using the Mangler to its max potential, and a lot of players, myself included, actually think that it's a little bit too strong right now. Now, even me just saying that is going to piss a lot of people off, as I have seen on my timeline. A lot of people do not like the language around the Mangler being too strong and rather feel like it's one of their favorite weapons and they want to leave it exactly the way that it is. And I agree, I think the Mangler is absolutely one of the most fun weapons in the game. I really like it as a pickup, and using it makes you feel really powerful on the map. But if we're talking about the competitive settings themselves, I think it's a little bit too heavy on the Mangler at the moment. So in this video, we're going to talk about whether or not the Mangler in its current state belongs in the competitive settings or should be tweaked. So as I mentioned, from my observations from my Twitter timeline, there is a very hot or cold take on this subject. A lot of people feel really strongly about it, one side or the other. So with that said, I'd like to go ahead and say that I don't think that the Mangler should be nerfed. I think not nerfing the Mangler is definitely the best idea because it will allow the people that like it in its current state, playing the non-ranked casual playlist, to enjoy it the exact way that they currently do. So I think what a lot of people need to realize when people are talking about the Mangler being too strong, it's not just because of the one-shot melee. Don't get it wrong, the one-shot melee is absolutely one of its best attributes and makes it one of the most frustrating guns to face off against. But in the competitive field, in the hands of a top-level player, pro players are able to use this gun as a CE Magnum, Halo 2 combo, and then also a Halo 3 Mauler. And that just being one weapon that spawns very frequently on the map immediately causes a problem.
Hold this. Hold this.
So weapon pads in Halo Infinite have colors. Some weapon pads are blue, meaning that every time a gun is grabbed off the pad, the respawn timer just starts counting back up, and then once it's back, you can grab the next one. And then there are red pads, which means that as long as that weapon is still in play, the respawn timer will not start on it. This is a good system to keep certain weapons that are too strong from being everywhere on the map and having every player constantly have the opportunity to pick them up. Unfortunately, the Mangler currently is on a blue pad. It also spawns with a pretty decent size reserve for ammo. So in high-level competitive matches, you end up seeing a lot of players end up with a Mangler in their back pocket at all times. This is a big issue with the weapon in competitive. So the dynamic can quickly be created between a player with a Mangler and a player without a Mangler, and there can be up to 5-6 players with a Mangler at all times. Imagine if this happened with the Heat Wave or the Bulldog or other weapons that spawn on the red pads. This would quickly become a problem. And the thing is, a Mangler in the hands of a very high-level player is just as good as those other weapons. The one-shot melee creates very easy kills close range. It's really hard to mess that up. Hitting a 3-shot kill with it, if you hit the last shot as a headshot, is a very efficient way to get a kill at mid-range or close range, and it is more efficient than the battle rifle. Even more efficient than that, you can land 2 body shots with it, drop your Mangler, and then just finish the kill with your battle rifle, which makes it a lot easier to execute the kill and faster than just a regular battle rifle. And so overall, when you have this presence of Manglers on the map and you're regularly running into them, it makes a player with a Mangler very difficult to kill. That's okay, you want weapons off the wall to help your player do better, but when you're facing an entire enemy team who has such a clear advantage because of their weapons, it makes the game very snowbally and not very competitive. A quick solution that I believe would solve the problem, and just so happens that Hoaxer, who's the coach of Cloud9, who won HCS Raleigh, happens to agree with me as well. Make it a red weapon, make it only spawn in one at a time, so there's only ever one Mangler on the map. Also make it spawn in with only 8 bullets, which is its max mag size, and then give it no reserve ammo. I think in the competitive world, keep in mind, this would be only for the competitive settings. This has nothing to do with actually tuning the weapon or changing the damage on it. It would just make it a more infrequent presence on the map. It would make it feel more like the power weapon that it plays as currently. You gotta think, at the highest levels, 8 bullets can still equal 2 kills by just shooting 4 body shots at the enemy. If you hit 2 3-shot perfect kills, you'd still have 2 bullets left over. If you weapon swap to your BR after 2 shots, you can do that for 4 kills. And then you can get 8 kills if you still only went for 1-shot melees. The gun is really strong. The problem is that it's just too strong and too frequent. Almost every map has a Mangler and they spawn in every minute or so. Plus with the huge ammo reserve, they stay around on dead bodies when people do die with them, and then other people can just pick them up from there. But ultimately, I think that leaving the Mangler the way that it is in terms of damage is in its best interest. I personally really like the Mangler. I think that it fits the sandbox really well in the sense that it feels like it's part of the game, it feels like a proper banished weapon, and it feels really good when you're using it. Again, it only becomes a problem when too many people have them. And because of that, I understand why a lot of people find it to be one of their favorite weapons in the game. They find it to be a lot of fun to use, and they really don't want to see it get nerfed to the point where it's no longer viable or a good weapon. You know, part of the fun with the gun is that you can get a lot of kills with it, right? You like picking up the rocket launcher because it should mean free, easy kills. You like picking up the sword because that means close range, you're probably going to win your fights. A weapon having a good spot in the sandbox, in this case basically being a direct upgrade to the battle rifle in every aspect except for long range. You know, you want it to be a lot of fun, and I think that's why outside of the ranked playlist, they should not touch it whatsoever. You know, it might still be really strong. Maybe we could tweak having, you know, how much ammo you end up getting when you pick it up off the wall. But I think leaving it alone and allowing it to still be the really fun gun that it is, I think that's the best idea, because, you know, when you have it, you can just be a demon on the map and it's a lot of fun. And, you know, currently we don't have the largest weapon sandbox. We only have so many guns in this game, and a lot of them serve similar purposes, but the Mangler kind of has its own purpose in that it's this really good, close to mid-range weapon that has a lot of viability in a lot of different scenarios. So overall, I really like the Mangler. I hope they don't mess with it too much. I think we can find a nice balance to where in the ranked playlist, it's no longer such a presence and such a factor in winning games to the point where it makes it really unfun and just, you know, almost impossible for another team. And you can still have the plays that the Mangler allows you to do around the map. I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you think about the Mangler? Do you guys find it to be a really fun weapon? Do you enjoy it? Do you think it needs to be nerfed? Do you think that it should be touched at all? What do you guys think? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching this video. Appreciate you. I'll see you guys in the next one.